I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure. Allow me to introduce the leader of our company, Soren Oakenshield.
This quest is ours to reclaim our homeland.
It feels like we've finished just a big job, and hopefully it's a job well done and time to move on. And I don't have a huge sentimentality, because I think you're so focused on making the best film you can, and if you've made the best film you can, then you're happy rather than feeling sad. So I'm very, very happy with this film.
Ты это начал, но с твоего позволения закончу это я.
I loved that we got to fulfill the story with the elves, and to see that come full circle, and sort of, especially with Legolas's story, to be able to know that he's where he's coming from when you finally meet him in the Fellowship of the Ring. That's going to be interesting for people who actually watch the films in that order. But also, I think obviously fulfilling Thorin's story was really important, and being able to. You become very invested in whether he can pull himself back and become the person that you think he is, because you feel like you've lost him and he's turning into almost this monster. So you become very invested in that. So that was wonderful. But also, obviously, our darling Hobbit, so beautifully done, portrayed by Martin Freeman, is the heart of the film, and seeing him come home and fulfilling those words that, again, I've said at the very beginning, I can't guarantee that you will come back, but if you do, you will be changed, and he's changed.
Что остается делать перед лицом смерти?
Filmmaking is breaking it down into very small pieces, and so, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It's like one of those, because there's about 3,000 shots in a feature film, sort of in the length of films that we tend to make. There's about 3,000 shots, so it's like one of those 3,000 piece jigsaw puzzles that you sit there on a winter's day, try one spread out on the table, except the only difference is that you actually have to make each piece of the puzzle. You don't just buy it in a cardboard box and have it pre-made and you just have to put it together. That happens in the cutting room, in the editing room, but before then you've actually got to go and make each of these pieces, and you have to make them in such a way that it's all going to fit together and make a big picture that makes sense at the end. And so, you only ever focus really on one little piece of the puzzle at any given time. So if you really stopped and thought about the enormity of it all too much, you would sort of actually run screaming from the room and it wouldn't make the movie in the first place, I don't think.
Я не буду отсиживаться, пока другие гибнут за нас!
Every battle scene is a big challenge, and how this one stacks up against the Lord of the Rings battles, I guess other people will make their decision about that. But it was, look, to be honest, this is probably easier than the Lord of the Rings battles, because in those days we couldn't do as much with the computers, and so we had to have hundreds and hundreds of extras that, in hot costumes, and people fainting, and people being carried off the set, and all sorts of things were going on, and that was actually quite a challenge. With CGI, you get, one, you can control the battles more, plus I can film them myself. I can be on a virtual set with a camera and actually be the cinematographer, which I was, of the battle scenes in this film. So I kind of actually, I think the technology makes it a little bit easier and it makes it more fun.